welcome to this podcast for radiation physics at Wenatchee Valley College in Wenatchee, Washington. I am Todd Bussey, your instructor, and I hope you find this podcast and all of the other podcasts for this class helpful. This podcast, I will be discussing multiplying and dividing fractions. So let's look at the first example. The first example is 2/3 times 5/7. When we multiply fractions, we take the numerators and multiply them together. So in this case, we take 2 times 5. And then we look at the denominators, 3 and 7, and multiply those together. So we get 3 times 7. So our top is going to be 10, and our bottom is going to be 21. So we'll have the fraction 10/21. We look to see if we can reduce the lowest terms, and we cannot. So our final answer is 10/21. Our second example is 1/6 times 3/7. In this case, we notice that the 3 and 6 have something in common. They both have 3 in common. So we are going to reduce or cross-cancel before we multiply. We could multiply and then reduce the lowest terms, but sometimes it's faster to cross-cancel, reduce first, and then multiply, and then you will not have to reduce at the end. You should always check, but you usually would not have to. So in this case, 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 6 twice. So now our new fraction is, for the numerator, is 1 times 1, which is going to be 1, and our denominator is going to be 2 times 7, which is 14. So our final answer will be 1/14, and that cannot be reduced. Now we're going to look at dividing fractions. And we use one algorithm that will be illustrated more thoroughly on the web page, but we're just going to do a quick example of, in this case, 3/4 divided by 2/7. And the algorithm that we use, the way we divide fractions, is we take the second fraction and we find the reciprocal of that fraction. In this case, we're going to have 7/2. So we take the fraction, just flip it over, that's the reciprocal. So our new problem is going to be 3/4 times 7/2. We look to see if we can cross-cancel. In this case, we cannot. So we take our numerators, 3 and 7, multiply those together, and get 21. We take our denominators, 4 and 2, multiply those together to get 8, and we get 21/8. And it is reduced to lowest terms, and we're going to leave it like that. Usually I leave things in improper fractions and do not put them into mixed numbers, because later on it will be easier as improper fractions. So we're just going to leave it as 21/8. And that is the end of this podcast on multiplying and dividing fractions. Thank you.